Tommy found his beloved dog, Max, lying cold and lifeless at the edge of the yard. His heart shattered as he cradled the small body in his arms. The tears came quickly, and with them a desperate thought. Tommy had once heard whispers from older kids in the neighborhood about a ritual, a way to bring something back from the dead. He didn't care if it was dangerous. He just wanted Max back. That night, with a shovel in hand, Tommy dug a small grave behind the house, beneath the gnarled old oak tree. He placed Max in the shallow pit and stood over it, clutching a dusty old book he had found in the attic, a book filled with symbols. That made his skin crawl that he chalked a pentagram around the grave, his fingers trembling, his mind racing. The candlelight flickered, casting strange shadows on the bark of the oak tree as he began to chant the strange words written in the book. The wind picked up, a cold, unnatural breeze that made the flames dance. Tommy's voice wavered as he chanted louder, the words feeling like poison on his tongue. He closed his eyes, imagining Max running towards him, his tail wagging, his eyes bright with life once more. The ground beneath him shuddered, a low rumble echoing through the yard, and Tommy's heart leaped in his chest. It was working. But then something went wrong. The air grew thick, heavy, a suffocating darkness swallowing the light from the candles. The wind turned into a howl, and a terrible stench rose from the grave. The acrid smell of decay mixed with something far worse. Tommy opened his eyes and stumbled back, his heart pounding in terror. Max's body was moving, but it wasn't Max. The fur was matted, twisted, and the eyes that stared back at him were empty, black voids, filled with a hunger that turned Tommy's blood to ice. The creature rose from the grave, its limbs jerking unnaturally, its mouth opening into a twisted grin that split the skin along its snout. It looked at Tommy, a guttural growl vibrating through the air, and Tommy knew this was not his Max. The thing lunged at him, and he screamed, stumbling backward, his foot catching on a root as he fell to the ground. The world around him seemed to twist, the oak tree bending, its branches reaching down like skeletal fingers. The ground opened beneath him, a pit of darkness swallowing the yard, the creature, and Tommy along with it. He fell, the air rushing past him, his screams echoing in the dark void that he could hear them, whispers, laughter, the voices of something ancient, something evil that had been awakened by his foolishness. Tommy landed with a jolt, the ground beneath him slick and warm that he looked around, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He was no longer in his yard. The sky above was blood-red, the air thick with ash, the twisted silhouettes of creatures moving in the distance. He could hear them, the growls, the snarls, the echo of Max's bark, warped and monstrous. He tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. The landscape shifted, the ground moving beneath his feet, pulling him deeper into the nightmare. He could feel it now, the weight of his mistake, the realization that he was trapped. This was his punishment for meddling with forces he didn't understand, that he had brought something back, but it wasn't Max, it was something far worse, and now it had him. Tommy's screams were swallowed by the darkness, the world around him twisting into a hellish landscape that offered no escape. The whispers grew louder, mocking him, reminding him of the price he had paid. And as the shadows closed in, he knew that he would never leave, that he would be lost in this nightmare forever.